In hell's acrid depths, past despair's final scream, lies a carnival woven from nightmare and dream. Twice each damned year the fiends convene for a nightmarish gala, obscene and unclean. The gate to this fest is a monstrous maw, forged from bones that were snapped raw, hung in sinews and tendons, writhing, stretched. The gates are alive with terror, and with the damned they're etched. Torches of brimstone cast a lurid light, illuminating faces devoid of all might. The freshly casted souls are dragged in chains, eyes vacant with horror, transfixed by their pains. They're herded like cattle to games designed to mutilate flesh and to breaking of the mind. Gutting roulette stands as the first ordeal, a game where the damned are made to feel every slice, every wrench, every tear, a horror crafted with sadistic care. In the game's dark center, a blade rusted with hate spins toward each victim, sealing their fate. When it lands, the chosen soul is torn from entrails to sinews, tattered and worn. Demons revel as intestines unwind, their laughter a cacophony, vicious and unkind. Then there's the sport they call the skinning dice, where innocence fades and death rolls thrice. They roll bones carved from souls long past, each face a promise of torment vast. A roll of one earns you no less than fingernails ripped from hands in distress. A roll of 6 means flesh from the face, torn from its structure without mercy or grace. The spectators leer, their cheers booming loud, as another poor sinner is flayed for the crowd. The damned are reduced to bleeding toys for demons' delight and eternal ploys. Every scream feeds infernal glee as they revel in torment with dark jubilee. When games exhaust and the flesh is drained, the demons turn to rides with souls restrained. Towering high, the Ferris wheel of Wales looms like a beast with sinister scales. Built from bones and bound with guts, with limbs that twist in spasmodic ruts. Each seat is a cage of twisted spine, occupied by souls that forever whine. The wheel creaks forth in relentless rotation, dragging souls upward to complete devastation. At its peak, flames scorch like a dragon's breath, sealing the damned in a hellish death. Those trapped inside thrash in their pain as the wheel turns again, igniting their brains. The demons drink in every shriek, savoring screams both muffled and bleak. Then there's the carousel of agony, spinning its grisly path, a vortex of suffering, fueled by wrath. Each pole a writhing, spasming limb, nailed down to the structure, cold and grim. The damned are bound, twisted, and tied, bent in angles mortals would never abide. With every revolution, bones snap loud, while demons encircle a mocking crowd. The slide of sin yet awaits, slicked with gore, where bodies are stripped, nerves raw to the core. Each damned is sent down, skinless and bare, their howls of agony infecting the air. The slide ends in a pit of acid and screams, where flesh dissolves in thick, bubbling streams. And the demons roar with unholy pride as flesh and blood coat the ride. Now, with dark hunger gnawing within, the demons gather for their feast of sin. At food stands twisted, foul, and morose, they prepare to indulge in hell's grandiose. The damned are dragged, some barely alive, to the kitchens where horror thrives. The pie stand is filled with fleshy pastries, each a brutal blend of abject monstrosities. Organs torn and minced to pulp, their rawness ground to a sickly pulp. Eyes stare from pies, devoid of breath, and demons consume them, savoring death. Each pie bleeds upon being sliced, a delicate balance of terror, precise. The cotton candy stand is a thing of dread, where hair from the damned is stretched and fed into spinning wheels of twisted pain, infused with the damned's endless disdain. Each tuft of fluff is sticky with fear, sweetened by tears, laced with sneer. Demons bite into these sugary strands, blood-stained smiles with eager hands. Hot dogs here are a revolting treat, with flesh as the bun and organs as the meat. The damned are shoved into grinders of dread, their bodies butchered, twisted, and bled. Stuffed into skins of shredded veins, the sausages throb with horrors profane. Demons devour, savoring the taste of souls reduced to gruesome paste. The drink stand offers concoctions of foul tastes, sourced from the blood and fluids of the lost's wastes. Goblets of agony filled to the brim, each sip causing torment to swim. The demons toast to infernal glee, laughing as they drink up soul's misery. With bellies bloated and blood-soaked grins, they circle the damned in violent spins. Their cruel carnival, a savage refrain, where despair and horror forever reign. Twice a year they feast and play on the damned, condemned to hell's decay. For in this place no soul escapes, they're doomed to hell's carnival, bound in its drapes. In hell's domain of endless floors, where agony's locked behind grim doors, countless levels down it goes, an abyss where no light ever shows. Thousands of miles in every way, hell stretches vast, a grim display, its borders unknown, an endless trap where its unfathomable expanse could never be mapped. This is no pit with fire alone, but vast chambers carved from twisted stone, each floor unique, its purpose clear, to amplify every soul's darkest fear. The stench? A rot from eons past, of flesh that melts yet seems to last, mixed with sulfur, burning hair, and ash that taints the heavy air. The screams, a choir of endless woe, of tortured souls in ceaseless throes, echoing through corridors high and wide, where no mercy has ever dared to abide. And there, among its grim domain, walk countless forms of ancient pain. Not all are like humans as we know, but some are beings from times long ago, countless failed humanoid creations, lifeless and pale. The first attempts that Earth unveiled, primitive forms of bone and skin, eyes hollow, faces cracked and thin. Millions of years since they last saw light, yet still they wail in endless fright. From twisted limbs to elongated heads, the ancient beings fill hell's dreads. There are forms of bone so brittle and thin, skeletal shadows stretched from within, jawbones wide and skulls deformed, all endlessly beaten, all bloodied and worn. Others bear scales like beasts of old, scaled and spined, with breath so cold, frozen and shattered, burned and flayed. They writhe in agony, eternally betrayed. Their screams a chorus layered deep, a symphony of broken sleep, and through it all strange creatures roam, demons and fiends in hell's dark home. The first level's bleak, reserved for such sin, of liars, thieves, and killers within, chains bound tight around their frame, as endless flames devour the same. Their skin peels off, yet they don't die, their bones exposed to blister and fry. Eyes wide in horror, ever aware of each new layer, each fresh tear. A different floor where ice reigns supreme, a frozen wasteland from some cruel dream. Here souls are buried, frost to skin, cracked and brittle, bone deep within. Icicles stab sharp and clear, their veins frozen stiff in endless fear. Tongues stuck frozen as they try to scream, trapped in a never-waking, deathless dream. On yet another level, a cavernous hall, where shadows dance and horrors crawl, specters of torment, phantoms of dread, that gnaw and feast upon the dead. These shades twist like smoke and fire, pulling each wretched soul higher and higher, to drop them again, their limbs anew, wounds fresh, their agony grew. A lower level is slick with grime, a sea of sludge, disease, and entrail slime, where corpses bloat, skin turns to rot, their bodies forever decay in this spot. Each step they take sinks them deep, the filth wraps tight, forbidding sleep. They choke on bile, their throats alive with worms that fester, bite and thrive. Further down, a ghastly sight, a chamber swallowed in blood-red light, where those who killed in life's cruel scheme are slaughtered again in a maddening dream. Each is torn, yet soon reborn, to suffer anew their flesh well-worn. The scent of iron thick in the air, as they thrash their skin laid bare. Cells lined up for miles to see, each one teeming with agony. A smoldering pit, a frozen maw, a nightmare real without any law. Creatures not human, not beast nor ghost, sprawl, shriek, and gurgle, a wretched host, eyes gouged out, their skin in tatters, their minds fractured into scattered shatters. Across these floors, a writhing sea, countless numbers of damned in their endless misery, each one unique, each torment specific, yet bound by fate so dark and horrific. Time holds no power, no end, no release, no chance for freedom, no taste of peace. Through every cell, one truth remains: all who suffer shall rise again. Here they are broken, torn, and remade, in cycles eternal, endlessly played, for a single moment's pause or breath is but the prelude to their deathless death.